Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and in this lesson you're going to learn the sequence of bass harmonics that you can get out of each of the strings on your bass. You're going to learn exactly where you can find them so you can start using them to create chords, melodies, or even head-turning solo pieces. So this is the third lesson in our free series on bass harmonics. In lesson 1, of course, you learned all about the left-hand technique that you can use to get the sound out of your bass. Lesson 2 was about how to get a brilliant harmonic sound, but this lesson it's time to start thinking about the actual notes that we can find on each of our strings when we use these harmonics. When you know the actual notes that are being created when you use these harmonics, you can do all sorts of really cool things. Things like starting to create chords, play melodies in harmonics, and like I said, even make entire solo pieces. But if you don't know what they are, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. So let's jump in and start looking at the sequence of notes of bass harmonics. The first thing you need to know is that there are 3 kinds of harmonics. The first is where the fretted note and the harmonic note match. They're in the same register and everything. We talked about one of these in lesson 1. It was at the 12th fret right up here. Check this out. If we play the harmonic on the 12th fret, right here, it gives us that note. If we play the 12th fret normally, like without the harmonic that is, we get the exact same note in the exact same register. Hear that? 12th fret harmonic, 12th fret fretted note. It's a slightly different sound, but it's the exact same note. In this case, we're playing on the G string, so the note's a G right there. If we were playing on the D string, same thing. We'd get a D note right there, same as the 12th fret, same on the A string, same on the E string, and same on the B string as well. In fact, no matter what you have your open string tuned to, the 12th fret is going to give you that exact note an octave above your open string. Some other harmonics that give the exact same note as their kind of fretted counterpart are on the 19th fret, so this one right here. 19th fret on the G string gives us the same note as the 19th fret if we play it normally. It gives you an octave and a fifth above your open string, right there. Finally, there's also the 24th fret. Now this bass doesn't actually have 24 frets, and chances are yours won't either. But if you kind of imagine where the 24th fret is, it'd be about there on my bass. It's going to give you the exact same note as you would if you had a 24th fret right there. In that case, it's going to be a G on the D string, a D, A, E, and B right there. The second type of harmonic is one where the note is the same as the fretted note, but the register is different. Usually the harmonic is going to be 1, 2, sometimes even 3 octaves above the fretted note. So we've got one of these we talked about again in lesson number 1 on the 7th fret. So check this out. We get the harmonic. The note's actually a D. If we check it against our open D string, we get that. But if we play this D here, you'll notice that this particular D that we've fretted is an octave below the harmonic note. You hear that? So the harmonic is an octave above the fretted note right there. It's the same note, it's just in a different register. The same kind of thing happens at the 4th fret. So if we stay on our G string and play the 4th fret, we get a B natural right there. And check this out, if we play the harmonic right here, it's still a B, definitely still a B, but it's 2 octaves above the fretted note right here. Do you see how that works? It's the same note, just in a different register. The exact same thing happens, by the way, at the 16th fret. Yeah, that's the 16th fret. Right there. It's the same exact harmonic as we had down here. But once again, this B that we've got here is an octave above the fretted note. So we get this one, and then the harmonic B is the octave above. Now the next few like this are a little bit tricky. The first one's at the 22nd fret, right here. So if we play the 22nd fret on the G string right here, we get an F note, and if we play the 22nd fret harmonic, we get the same note in a different register. Once again, a couple of octaves above our fretted note. You'll also notice that this is a little bit out of tune. It's not quite as in tune as the rest of the rest of the harmonics we've talked about so far. And this is, I don't want to bore you with the whole science of how the harmonic series works, but yeah, it is a little bit out of tune in this one. You get the same harmonic, by the way, on the 10th fret, but notice on this one, on the 10th fret harmonic, we have to be a little bit further back from the fret rather than being kind of directly on top of it. The finger placement becomes very important once you start getting into these kind of extended harmonics. So you want to come back from the fret just a tiny little bit on the 10th fret harmonic there, and it'll give you an F note, once again, octaves above the fretted note. The final one of these happens on our 2nd fret. So on our G string, our 2nd fret gives us an A. Check it against our open A if you want to. And if we play our 2nd fret harmonic right above the fret for this one, it gives us a very, very quiet A. This one's really quite tricky to kind of get your head around. If your finger's wrong in either direction, 1 or 2 millimeters, you're just going to end up with that kind of nasty clunk sound, and no one wants that. So make sure, be very, very careful with your finger placement and listen for that harmonic when it gets there. Notice that it is still an A. It's still that same note, just in a different register right there. So remember, the harmonics that gave us the same note but in a different register were our 7th, gave us the same note as our fretted note in a different register. Same with the 4th fret, the 16th fret, the 22nd fret, the 10th fret, and finally we talked about the 2nd fret. Oh, 2nd fret right there. Our last kind of harmonics are definitely the most fun, but they're also a little bit confusing sometimes. Now this is the kind of harmonic where the fretted note and the harmonic note don't line up at all. Let me explain. So our first one's going to be on the 3rd fret. So if we use our G string again, our 3rd fret is going to give us the note B flat right there. Now this B flat is a minor third above our open string. So from G to B flat is a minor third. But listen to what happens when you play the 3rd fret harmonic. It gives us a completely different note. In fact, it's giving us a D note. You can check it against your open D right there. Do you see how that works? Our fretted note is a B flat and our harmonic note is a D natural, not the same note at all. This can be quite confusing if you're just starting to mess around with these harmonics. It's not the easiest thing to kind of get your head around, but the more you do it, the more you experiment, the more you mess around, the more you have a play with them, the easier it's going to get. Next we have our 5th fret harmonic. Now on our G string, our 5th fret gives us a C note, gives us the note C. But if you listen to the harmonic, once again it's giving us a G. There's a disconnect between the fretted note and the harmonic note. We're getting a G note out of the 5th fret harmonic when the fretted note is actually a C. Now you might also be noticing a pattern here. There's plenty of different ways to play on the G string a G. You've got this one here, you've got this one here, this one here. And we've also got another one that we haven't talked about yet up here, but we'll get to that one as well. Next up, we've got the 6th fret harmonic. Now, our 6th fret on the G string gives us a D flat or C sharp, however you want to think about it. But have a listen to the harmonic. Gives us an F note. It's the same exact harmonic we got on the 10th fret and the 22nd fret. Once again, a little bit out of tune because of the way the harmonic series works, but it's definitely right there. Also, this is another one where you have to be a little bit further back from the fret. See there, I'm not completely right on top of it. I'm a tiny fraction back. This is where finger placement really comes into play. The next harmonic we can find is on our 8th fret. Now on the G string, our 8th fret will give us an E flat or D sharp, however you want to think about it. That's going to be a minor 6th above our open string. But if you have a listen to the harmonic it gives, once again, it's another G, another way to play G on our harmonics. And by the way, this is the same for every string. Every string is going to have the same series of notes in relation to the open string. So our 8th fret harmonic on our D string is going to be a D. Right there on our A, an A, E, and our B. It gets harder towards the kind of thicker strings. That's why I'm kind of demonstrating everything on the G string. But just know that no matter what your open string is tuned to, the harmonics follow the same formula for everything. Next we've got our 9th fret harmonic right here. And on our G string gives us an E note, but once again gives us a B, same as our 4th fret harmonic right there on our 9th fret. Fretted note is an E, harmonic note is a B. It's another example of the fretted note not matching the harmonic. Next we've got our 15th fret harmonic. Now once again, on our G string this is going to give us a B flat, just like our B flat down here. But in this case, our 15th fret harmonic is going to give us that kind of sound right there, same as our, oh pardon me, oh, there we go, told you those ones were tricky. Our 10th fret harmonic and also our 6th fret harmonic. The exact same note, an F. Once again, many octaves above this one. So we've got multiple different ways to play heaps of different harmonics on each of our strings. Now, like I said, we've only really talked about the G string in this lesson today, but remember, the relationship between the fretted notes and the harmonics and the open strings is 100% the same no matter what your string is tuned to. That means you can figure out exactly what your harmonics are on every string, even if you're playing with altered tunings and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you're looking for a super comprehensive kind of visual chart that shows exactly where all of your harmonics are on your bass, even some of the ones we didn't talk about today, then be sure to download my ultimate guide to bass harmonics. You'll get a comprehensive bass harmonics chart that shows you exactly where all the harmonics are on your bass, whether you play a 4-string, 5-string, or even a 6-string. It'll even show you some in-between sneaky harmonics that we didn't have time to cover today. Then you can use all this kind of new knowledge that you've got to start playing chords, melodies, and even solo pieces using harmonics. I'll even show you the exact process that guys like Wooten and Jaco Pastorius use to create captivating solo pieces that use harmonics as the melody. By the end, you're going to have a whole new bunch of music that you can make that's going to sound unreal, and hopefully it'll unlock some of your creativity as well. To get the ultimate guide to bass harmonics, just put your name and email address in the box underneath this lesson and it'll be sent straight to your email. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, just click the link in the description and you'll be taken to the right place to sign up for the ultimate guide to bass harmonics. But to recap, you learned all about the sequence of notes you can get out of your harmonics on each of the strings on your bass. You learned that there were 3 basic kinds of harmonics. The first was where the fretted note and the harmonic note were the same, like the one on the 12th fret right here. You learned that the second was where the harmonic and the fretted note were the same note, but the harmonic was in a higher register, like the one at the 7th fret right here. And you learned that the third was where the harmonic and the fretted note don't match up at all, like the one at the 5th fret right there. You also learned that the pattern for the harmonics was the same no matter what string you used and no matter what note that your open string was tuned to. The 12th fret will always be an octave above the open string. The 7th fret will always be an octave and a fifth above the open string. The 5th fret will always be 2 octaves above the open string, etc., etc. And you learned that the pattern didn't change no matter what. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure bringing you this series on harmonics, and I do hope you got a lot out of it. And of course, remember, if you're looking for a bit more, be sure and download the Ultimate Guide. Once again, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and I will see you very, very soon.